From dominating reality TV for over a decade to the hidden secrets behind the pawnshop counter being revealed, this is the untold story of Pawn Stars and Rick Harrison's shocking confession. The family-run business, which was built on a deep knowledge of gold and silver, has recently been caught in a whirlwind of controversy. Scandals, lawsuits, and family betrayals now threaten to tarnish its legacy. With everything that's been going on, Rick Harrison's empire is on the edge of collapse, and it could all come crashing down. What started as a small pawn shop has transformed its owners' lives with fame, greed, and legal chaos. But how did it all begin? At the heart of the pawn shop empire was Richard Oldman Harrison, the 77-year-old patriarch who co-founded the shop in Las Vegas. His experience in the business, paired with his no-nonsense attitude, made him a fan favorite, and the one everyone turned to for decisions. But when he passed away in 2018, it marked a huge shift for the family, both personally and professionally. Rick Harrison, the mastermind behind the shop's TV success, knew from the start that pawning wasn't just about making quick cash. It was about connecting to the story behind each item. "Everyone loves a story," he said. "If you take something expensive, like an antique that sells for millions, you're not just buying the item, you're buying its story." Armed with a basic understanding of gold and silver, Rick built the gold and silver pawn shop from the ground up. The early days were tough. He often found himself lending out more money than he was making. Still, he powered through, expanding his expertise and earning a solid reputation in the pawn business. The game changer came in 2009 when Pawn Stars hit the airwaves on the History Channel. The show followed Rick, his father, his son Corey, and his son's friend Chumlee, as they dealt with all sorts of quirky, sometimes priceless items that customers brought in. From rare comic books to artifacts thought to be from ancient Egypt, no 2 days at the shop were ever the same. The unpredictability made it all the more exciting, and fans loved the fun banter between Rick and his dad, plus Chumlee's goofy, innocent personality. But behind the scenes, things weren't as smooth as they appeared on TV. Rick found himself in a messy legal battle with his own mother. According to USA Today, Joanne Harrison, Rick's mother, filed a lawsuit over family assets and the ownership of the pawn shop. The lawsuit, filed in Nevada State Court, names Rick, the shop's business entities, and others as defendants. It claims a breach of contract, with Joanne stating that she was married to Rick's father for 58 years and is now fighting over what she believes is rightfully hers. And that's just the start of the drama. But things really took a turn when Joanne was hospitalized in the early 2000s. After waking up from a coma, Rick had her sign over her 51% stake in the pawn shop to him. Once she realized what had happened, Joanne fought back, claiming she didn't fully understand what she was signing given her condition at the time. Then, in 2018, after Richard's death, Joanne was set to inherit his 49% share of the pawn shop. But Rick hadn't given her full access to the business's financial records. Joanne alleged that because of this, she couldn't get proper accounting for over $500,000 worth of cash and silver that Richard had amassed before his death. This legal battle threatened Rick's wealth. The lawsuit sought damages, an order to stop Rick from using funds that belonged to Joanne, and a constructive trust over property that she claimed was rightfully hers. In an interview with the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Rick dismissed the accusations as false and suggested his 81-year-old mother was being manipulated by others for their own gain. But the family drama didn't stop there. In 2020, the gold and silver pawn shop, which typically pulls in over $1 million annually, only made around $37,000 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The business took a massive hit, and the legal issues continued to pile up. Joanne filed a temporary restraining order against Rick, trying to prevent him from selling off the family's assets. She claimed that Rick had stopped sending her payments from Richard's share of the business. Initially, Rick had been giving her regular payments of $225,000, but that stopped in 2020. Joanne argued that Rick's actions showed signs of depression, and she filed for a restraining order to have the payments reinstated through the courts. The order also sought to stop Rick from transferring or hiding any assets or taking any actions that could affect her stake in the business. On top of all that, it was reported that Joanne, now 81, was struggling with health issues and required 24-hour care, which could cost up to $115,000 a month. What really shocked Rick, though, was that he found out about the restraining order request through news reports, rather than hearing it directly from his mother. After the restraining order incident, Rick claimed that he had tried to reach his mother countless times over several months, but couldn't get in touch with her. This made it even harder for him to work out better terms for everyone, hoping for a resolution where they could at least part ways on some kind of good note, even if it wouldn't be back under the same roof. But this wasn't the only legal headache rocking the Pawn Stars family. Chumlee, one of the more controversial figures in the show, also had his fair share of run-ins with the law. In 2012, he was caught on camera getting into a brawl with a guy in Hollywood, which ended with the victim bruised and bleeding on the side of the road. Chumlee defended himself, claiming the man had threatened to pull a gun on him and his friends, and that it was a case of self-defense. Speaking to TMZ, Chumlee said the stranger had just wanted a ride in their car and started trouble, adding that the guy didn't even seem to recognize him as a TV star. While he got away with this one, things were about to get much worse for Chumlee. Fast forward to 2016, and Chumlee found himself in deeper trouble. According to the Chicago Tribune, he was arrested on suspicion of 20 felonies after a police raid on his house. The raid was part of an investigation into sexual assault allegations against him. During the search, officers reportedly found meth, marijuana, and at least one gun at his home in southwest Las Vegas. Though Chumlee wasn't arrested on charges related to the assault, police were investigating a recent complaint made by a woman. The officers were determined to uncover the truth, and TMZ reported that Chumlee was the main suspect in the case. While the sexual assault charges were eventually cleared, the fallout continued. Chumlee was left to face the consequences of what was found during the raid. TMZ revealed that police had seized a long list of drugs including weed, meth, and Xanax, along with traces of cocaine and 12 guns, 8 of which were unregistered. Facing serious charges, Chumlee took a plea deal to avoid prison time, but the damage to his reputation was already done. Chumlee's legal troubles weren't the only ones rocking the Pawn Stars crew. Rick's son, Corey Big Hoss Harrison, also found himself in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Known for his ambition to one day take over the family pawn shop, Corey went through a rough patch when reports of his wild behavior started to surface. During a stop on a motorcycle tour in Jefferson City, Corey got into an embarrassing incident at a bar called Spectators. After a week of heavy drinking, witnesses said Corey shocked everyone by urinating in public and throwing a bar stool, getting himself kicked out of the bar. The scandal drew negative attention, but Corey later apologized and tried to clean up his image with a public apology, hoping his charm would do the trick. However, his troubles didn't end there. In 2021, Corey was back in the headlines, but this time it was about a vacation gone wrong. According to TMZ, Corey had rented an RV for a short trip to the California desert in 2020. But when it was time to return the vehicle, the owner, William V. Harrison, said Corey didn't bring it back on time, and it was in bad shape. Corey's assistant apparently called a day later to say they'd been in an accident and would tow the RV back. However, it took another 2 days before the damaged RV finally arrived. The vehicle had severe body damage from the crash. The awning had been ripped off and the inside was a mess, littered with empty bottles and eggs. It sounded like a wild ride, to say the least. The damage was estimated at around $30,000 to repair, and the owner claimed he had to cancel 10 reservations because the RV was in such bad condition. To make things worse, he said Corey refused to pay for the repairs, leading him to file a police report. As the media attention grew, Corey's team tried to downplay it, saying the RV's pop-outs wouldn't go back in and it became undrivable. They insisted that Corey had the RV towed back to Las Vegas and handled the situation with insurance. While Corey avoided the legal consequences, his public image took a hit. But that wasn't the only personal battle Corey was facing. Struggling with his weight, which had reached dangerous levels, Corey decided to undergo gastric bypass surgery in 2010. The surgery helped him lose over 100 pounds. But the pressure of living in the public eye, managing the pawn shop, and trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle continued to weigh on him. The combination of fame, personal struggles, and family drama seemed to follow Corey wherever he went. Through all the drama, Corey's friendship with Chumlee remained solid. Chumlee, inspired by Corey, even started his own weight loss journey, so at least there was some positivity amidst all the chaos. But trouble wasn't far behind. While Rick, Chumlee, and Corey were the stars of Pawn Stars, the show also relied on its experts to lend credibility to the rare items brought into the shop. These specialists, with their deep knowledge of everything from old coins to rare autographs, became fan favorites in their own right. But some of these experts found themselves in hot water, leading fans to question just how reliable they really were. One such expert was Johnny Jimenez Jr., a specialist in vintage toys, who ran into legal trouble in 2015 following a domestic violence incident. According to TMZ, Johnny was caught on camera allegedly assaulting his girlfriend outside a Las Vegas restaurant. Johnny defended himself by claiming he was just trying to help his intoxicated girlfriend move after a night of partying, but the damage to his reputation was already done. Another expert, John Resnikoff, who specialized in autograph authentication, found himself in a different kind of scandal. In 2011, he made a high-profile mistake when he misidentified an autograph on The Godfather script. He had claimed the signature was from Al Pacino, but it was actually from the film's producer, Al Ruddy. Though the mistake was relatively minor, it raised questions about the experts' accuracy and whether they had made other mistakes that had gone unnoticed. But none of these incidents compared to the biggest scandal that rocked the show. In 2015, Drew Max, a sports memorabilia expert, was accused of fraud after authenticating fake sports items in New Jersey. These items were later sold at auction, and buyers who had been scammed filed a lawsuit against him. They accused Drew of using his TV fame to lend credibility to his fraudulent work. This scandal severely tarnished the show's reputation as fans began to question how many other items on Pawn Stars had been misrepresented. While some people believed everyone makes mistakes, not many came to Drew's defense. His error had cost people a lot of money, and it wasn't easy to forgive. With all the mounting scandals, Pawn Stars started to shift its focus. Originally, the show had been a mix of history and entertainment, with Rick and his team educating viewers on the significance of the items brought in. The charm of the show was its unpredictability. Each day brought something new and fascinating. But as controversies piled up, the show struggled to keep that same balance. One day, a customer might walk in with a rare piece of military history, and the next, someone might bring in a quirky modern collectible. But as time went on, things started to feel less like the exciting, unpredictable show it once was. Reports began to surface that sellers were being pre-selected and that items were appraised beforehand, which took away the spontaneity that originally attracted viewers. The once genuine, often hilarious arguments between the cast started to feel scripted, with more focus placed on family drama rather than the fascinating items coming into the shop. Fans definitely noticed the shift. This move toward staged drama made the show feel less authentic. People who had initially tuned in to learn about history found themselves watching a reality show that was starting to resemble Keeping Up with the Kardashians more than a show about pawning. Even the characters began to feel like exaggerated versions of themselves. Rick, the stern dealmaker, Corey, the ambitious but distracted son, and Chumlee, the goofy comic relief, whose real-life legal troubles made his on-screen persona feel increasingly disconnected from reality. As if the family drama, Chumlee's legal issues, and the controversies surrounding the experts weren't enough, Pawn Stars also ran into problems with its business ventures. Rick tried to cash in on the show's success by opening Pawn Plaza, a retail center near the shop that housed various restaurants and stores. However, this venture turned out to be a bust, with many businesses closing due to lack of foot traffic. The owners of these businesses later complained that Rick hadn't given them enough marketing support. They had hoped the fame of Pawn Stars would bring in customers, but the crowds never came. Shop owners blamed Rick for not promoting the area enough, which led to several failed businesses and a string of lawsuits. It was clear that turning viewers into actual customers was harder than it seemed. Amid these ongoing struggles, one of the cast members' past came back to haunt the show. Olivia Black, a former employee who joined the shop in 2012, became a fan favorite because of her alternative style and edgy personality. But after a short time, Olivia was suddenly fired without explanation. Fans were furious and started digging into why she disappeared. It was later revealed that Olivia's termination had to do with nude photos she had taken before joining the show, which had surfaced online. This sparked outrage, with many fans criticizing the show's producers for what they saw as an unfair and sexist response to her past. Despite being let go from the show, Olivia's story added yet another layer to the growing controversies surrounding Pawn Stars. Olivia Black, despite being let go from Pawn Stars, maintained a strong fan following and continued her career off-screen. She pursued modeling and worked as an adult entertainer, all while dealing with the aftermath of her firing. Olivia took legal action, claiming her termination was unlawful, but the case was eventually dropped. She then shifted her focus to her modeling career. As media attention moved away from Olivia's case, another controversy hit the show involving a stolen coin collection. In 2014, Pawn Stars found itself embroiled in a legal battle over a stolen antique coin collection. David Walters filed a criminal complaint claiming his niece, Jennifer Beckman, stole his valuable coin collection in 2013 and sold it to the gold and silver pawn shop. Walters alleged that the collection, which his niece sold for $2,375, was actually worth closer to $50,000. When Walters realized the coins were missing, he contacted the authorities. However, by the time the police got involved, the coins were gone, and the pawn shop claimed they may have been melted down. Despite Walters' claims, the store disputed his valuation, stating that the coins were worth much less, and insisted no illegal activity had occurred at the pawn shop. This added to the growing list of controversies surrounding the show. Despite these scandals, Pawn Stars remained on air for over a decade, maintaining a loyal following. However, by season 21, the show's initial magic had faded, and viewership began to decline significantly. The ongoing legal issues, family conflicts, and scandals surrounding its stars caused the show to lose some of its authenticity. Rick, always a savvy businessman, redirected his focus toward real estate and other ventures. While Pawn Plaza didn't achieve the success he had hoped for, Rick's business sense kept the gold and silver pawn shop a prominent fixture in Las Vegas. As for the future of Pawn Stars, no official cancellation has been announced, but the show has undoubtedly become a shadow of its former self. Initially, it was a cultural phenomenon, drawing millions of viewers with its unique blend of history, family dynamics, and the quirky personalities of its cast members. Over the years, however, the show has faced a significant decline in both viewership and relevance. The stars of the show, once beloved for their real-life personas, have been entangled in numerous personal and professional challenges that have overshadowed their original appeal. From legal battles and personal conflicts to the increasingly scripted nature of the show, Pawn Stars has slowly lost its spark. The once authentic interactions between Rick, Corey, Chumlee, and the experts have been replaced by increasingly manufactured drama. The focus has shifted away from the fascinating and rare items that came through the doors of the gold and silver pawn shop to the off-screen troubles of its stars, including scandals, lawsuits, and business failures. As the show's authenticity began to unravel, its influence on the History Channel started to diminish as well. Viewership declined, and while the show still had a loyal following, the magic that made it a breakout hit seemed to fade. It remains unclear whether Pawn Stars will make a return in any meaningful capacity, but the future of the show is certainly in question. Despite these challenges, Pawn Stars has undeniably left a significant mark on the world of reality television, forever changing the landscape of how we consume and engage with shows about everyday people, their businesses, and their lives. The legacy of Pawn Stars is complicated, filled with both triumphs and pitfalls. On one hand, the show achieved tremendous success by bringing attention to the history of antiques, rare collectibles, and the often overlooked art of dealing. It transformed a small family-run pawn shop into a globally recognized name, with millions of viewers tuning in to learn about the fascinating world of valuables and history. The show not only entertained but also educated, offering in-depth explanations about the items brought into the shop, from military memorabilia to vintage coins, rare books, and historic artifacts. This unique educational aspect helped the show stand out in the crowded world of reality television. At the same time, Pawn Stars showcased the charm of everyday Americans working together in a family business. Rick, Corey, and Chumlee quickly became household names with their distinct personalities and family dynamic drawing viewers in. People loved the behind-the-scenes look at the inner workings of a pawn shop and the often humorous interactions between the cast and customers. It was a show that celebrated hard work, history, and the unexpected treasures that people often bring into pawn shops. However, the show's rise to fame wasn't without its complications. The scandals, legal issues, and controversies that surrounded its stars, particularly Rick, Chumlee, and Corey, soon became part of the show's narrative. As the family's personal problems took center stage, the once pristine image of Pawn Stars began to tarnish. The public learned about Chumlee's legal troubles, Rick's strained relationships, and Corey's personal struggles, which became more prominent than the fascinating artifacts brought into the shop. These controversies made Pawn Stars feel less like an insightful look into the world of pawning, and more like a reality soap opera filled with family drama. This shift in focus alienated many viewers who had initially tuned in for its educational value, and instead they were faced with manufactured conflict and behind-the-scenes turmoil. In many ways, the scandals surrounding Pawn Stars served as a cautionary tale about the perils of fame. The show's cast, once ordinary people with a modest pawn shop, had been thrust into the limelight and forced to navigate the challenges that came with it. Their personal lives became fodder for the media, and their mistakes were magnified on a global scale. In a way, Pawn Stars became a reflection of the darker side of celebrity, how fame can be fleeting and the pressure of maintaining a public image can often take a toll on personal relationships and business ventures. Despite the controversies, however, Pawn Stars will be remembered as one of the most popular and influential reality TV shows in history. It offered a rare and fascinating glimpse into the world of pawning and antique dealing, a world that most viewers were unfamiliar with. It was a show that combined personal struggles with unique items, blending history and entertainment in a way that had never been done before. The personal drama of the cast members, while at times detracting from the original concept, gave the show a human element that made it relatable to viewers. While the show's authenticity may have been compromised over time, its impact on pop culture is undeniable. It introduced viewers to the inner workings of a pawn shop and sparked interest in the world of collectibles and rare items. It also made stars out of people who had been running a modest business in Las Vegas, turning Rick, Corey, Chumlee, and the rest of the crew into household names. The show's influence can still be felt today in the many spin-offs, imitators, and merchandise that have followed in its wake. Ultimately, Pawn Stars was more than just a reality TV show. It was a cultural phenomenon that captured the imaginations of millions. Though its future is uncertain, its legacy as one of the most groundbreaking reality shows of its time will continue to resonate for years to come. Even as it fades from the spotlight, its place in television history is firmly cemented, leaving behind a complex, multifaceted legacy that will be remembered for both its highs and lows.